Clothes is on Ron's house.
Join the Marketplace Connection with our host, Linda Hunt. She connects us to new people every Saturday at 11 a.m. only on The One. Available on Roku TV, YouTube, Amazon Fire Stick, and Facebook Live. Join us every Saturday and become a connector.
Well, good morning, my Saturday morning connectors. How are you on this glorious day? This is my first day back in the new year. Happy 2021. I've coined it 2020 and WON. You have won. If you have made it through 2020 and all that was going on in 2020, certainly you have gotten to 2021 and you have won. And I am so happy to be back here today with you. This is Linda Hunt, and I am your host of the Marketplace Connection. For those of you that have never watched me before, I just want to invite you to watch today, to take some copious notes, because I have a wonderful guest. But I just want to share this little word with you as I was on my way here, and how, I try to give you words of inspiration, and as the Lord just dropped things in my heart. And so I just want you today to be encouraged. I know there has been so much that has gone on, and we have lost people, and and people have been sick, and we've come through a lot, with all that is going on in the earth, all the chaos, all of the confusion. But I want you to be encouraged, because the greatest thing that you can have is life. And when you think about somebody to give you an invitation to a party and you're so excited, but I want you to know you've been given an invitation today. Anytime that you have woke up today, you're still moving, you're still breathing, you have been given the greatest invitation that could be given to man, and that is the invitation of life. So I want you to celebrate life today. I want you to be happy today. I want you to just have joy, and I want you to have peace in your life and in your heart, because whatever you're going through, this too shall pass. Where I was in 2015 when I started this broadcast, I am not in the same place. So I just want you to know it will pass. I want you to be encouraged, and I want you to have peace. Well, today I have a man that I have known for quite some time, and I'm just so excited. I've been trying to get him here for quite some time. I have known this man because I sold him a car. For those of you that know that I used to sell cars, that was my occupation. That was what I did for over 15 years. And he came into the dealership one day. I just happened to service him. I hope I did a good job. But anyway, I happened to service him. And, we just got a chance to know each other. And even at that time, he was doing what he is doing right now. So he's been doing this, since 2007. And the name of his organization, he has two. It's called Encourage Me, I'm Young. Gave me a T-shirt. And I believe I still have that T-shirt. But I just, I just admired him for his enthusiasm, for his tenacity and all that he was doing. And so I am so excited to finally get him in this chair today. And my guest today is Mr. Calvin Mann.
I guess we finally made it.
Yes, you did. And I am so happy to have you, Calvin, because I know what you have been doing. You have been at it a long time. You've been grinding. You've been beating the pavement. You're an encourager. And, and when God gives you something and it's a vision, you cannot, and, I said this not too long ago. In fact, it was Miles Monroe that said, and I love Miles Monroe because he's always giving you, wisdom. And he said, don't allow the limitations of your eyes to override the vision that God has given you in your heart. And so, a lot of times we allow things, and money is always going to be a factor, okay?
Right.
But it's really the faith.
Right. So, Dr. Miles Monroe, I think a lot of people are really starting to appreciate the legacy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a legacy that continues to give and give
That's
and
right.
give. And so as I've learned over 35 years of work, even before we transitioned, Encourage Me, I'm Young, and then in 2007, just coming forth, there are people who were affected by Encourage Me, I'm Young that, you know, even a lot of my former players and people that are around not quite understanding what was given. And, you know, a lot of times, you know, they see you say, hey, you all over the place. They say, well, you here, you there. And I remember listening to Dr. Miles Monroe.
Wow.
Right? I often read, listen, eat his information, right? And that goes with A.R. Bernard, that goes along with
Yes.
T.D. Jakes, right? And it also goes with me listening to what God pours out of my system.
Right.
And when you have purpose,
Come on.
it's purpose over money,
Yeah.
because purpose lends to solutions. And a lot of times we look at our purposes on the financial aspects, and Dr. Miles Monroe said that is not what purpose is for. You will be blessed along your journey for the work. And so it's not easy bringing something of a solution when everyone enjoys problems.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I tell you, you know, you have really encouraged me. And although the name of your organization is Encourage Me, I'm Young, I'm still young.
You still young. That's right. That's right.
And it has encouraged me. But I want, you know, just for the audience's sake, I have a clip of Calvin, and I just really want you to hear as he speaks from his heart about a dream. You know, Dr. Martin Luther King, which we will be celebrating him in a few days, he had a dream, you know, and I want you to hear the dream that God has given to this man, and it's in his heart. You know, vision has to be in your heart. You know, Dr. Miles Monroe said, you know, eyes to see the common, but vision comes from the heart. And because he had a vision in his heart, he stayed with it through all of the adversities, through up to down, all of the things that he could have quit, but he stayed with it. So I want you to, we're going to be right back after we get finished listening to this clip, and I just want you to hear a little bit about him and how he started.
Clothes is on Ron's house. Soon as you walked out the shop, your t-shirts came on Ron's house, and I turned to him like, look at her. Y'all's hating on that, brother, but look, it's stuff on Ron's house. Right? I was like, really? She was like, yeah. So I cut the TV on. We sitting there. I said, I'll call you back. Get off the phone. My kids come down the steps. And sure enough, the trailer come on, and there's Encourage Me, I'm Young. Affecting a television show. So I called in to Russell, tried to do some things, right? I go to a friend to put together a proposal, right? I don't know nothing about proposals at all at the time. I'm just dreaming, trying to work this dream. My man B give me his last $200 to help me get this proposal done. I don't know how to read a proposal or nothing. I'm just dreaming. The proposal was whack. It wasn't even a proposal. It was embarrassing that I even sent it. So they decide that they're gonna go to Joe Louis Arena. And Rev Ron is with Kid Rock. So I go down to Joe Louis Arena with the shirts. The first night, they see me, they close up the bus. The kids see me standing there with the t-shirt. They end up pointing out the t-shirt. The bus drive off. I call Linda Russell, like I'm down here, man. Right in the office. Russell Simmons tell me, man, get with my brother. I said, I'm trying. So the bus driver tell me, hey man, I love what you're doing. They're gonna come out at a certain time. Man, they called security on me. So the brother that was running them at the time, they pulled the bus up. I'm talking to them through the glass and they treat me like I was a criminal. I didn't know that they had to pay me for that. See, just dreaming. And the bus pulled off. I'll never forget, it was a snowy night. The bus pulled off. And I'm left standing out there with a t-shirt. And I just stood there. I was like, what's the point, right? And this woman saw me standing in the snow. She gets out of her car. She walks by me. She said, "You gonna be okay?" I was like, "Yeah." She said, like, what happened? I said, my stuff is on their shoulder. And they just treated me like I was a criminal. I'm just trying to help. And she walks up, she pulls back up in her car. She said, "Let me see the shirt." And the quote on the back of the shirt was, "I'm a child. Can you discipline me? I'm a teen. Can you have patience with me? I'm a young adult now. Can you love me for all the things I'm not?" And she was like, "My son needs this." And she took the shirt and she gave me $50 for that t-shirt. And she told me, "Don't give up. An angel." Remember, when you're building your dreams, God always put those things in your path that helps you to endure. You just got to pay attention. I'm still here. Ron's also off the air. And we're impacting lives. My name is Kelvin Mann. God bless you and encourage me. I'm out. Peace.
Wow. What do you say about that? A man with a dream is unstoppable. Unstoppable. Calvin, I tell you, that really just warmed my heart when I heard that. You know, your grind, your tenacity, just unstoppable. Wouldn't give up. No matter how many doors were slammed in your face, you kept going. You know, the embarrassment, it didn't matter because you knew what you were called to do. And now you're getting invitations, and your audience has grown, and you're getting known. And I tell you, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. After all of that, that night, and what made you just keep, regardless? I mean, I'm sure, you felt embarrassed. You felt like, as you said, you were treated like a criminal. I mean, you went back and you did it again.
If you, I think a lot of times we look at things from a financial standpoint. I was just like the Smash Suicide campaign. I was that 8-year-old. I was that kid. I was the kid who went through divorce, right? Mm-hmm. I turn around and I went through it and put my kids through it. And I was always asking, right? And and seeing what was happening to kids, I was always asking, why?
Mm-hmm.
And so in 2004, thinking I was starting a clothesline,
Mm-hmm.
with these T-shirts, and was, learning all about that. God had something else. And it was once I asked God to use me that my whole life changed. So I began to get headaches and affirmations, quotes. I'm pulling quotes. And nobody understands you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And because nobody understands you, you don't even understand yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to figure it out. And I laugh because I was a horrible writer,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I used to write down this, and it just looked bad.
Mm-hmm.
I was good at writing practices for basketball, put together the practices, and I was good at, formatting game plans and those types of things. And I think those things helped me, right? Because I come from running the in-school suspension where all the kids would come and be in front of me. It went from 6 seats to 35, and the kids were doing the work at the in-school suspension, and they couldn't understand how these kids would cooperate and be quiet. And sometimes people think that you got a little more power than they do. They don't realize that God gave you a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just manifested in a way that I had no choice.
Right.
And I say that seriously because a lot of people turn on you. And I'm talking very close to you. A lot of people don't know how to be a mate to a man with a vision or a woman with a vision. And that is
It's powerful. Powerful.
people not understanding that when, somebody got a vision and you don't know how to deal with the vision, you yelling and screaming about something that has nothing to do with the vision, and you're trapped in this vision. You got to do the work because it pulls on you.
Right.
And these kids, these boys, they need what you got. And so Ron's House was an opportunity to actually get the funding, the money. That's
Now,
why
who is Ron's House?
Ron's House was run by Russell Simmons, Rev Ron. These were hip hop,
Okay.
right? And this is their family.
Okay.
And they had quite a few years on MTV, BET, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And season 4, my shirts is throughout that process. And I come from labor.
Mm-hmm.
So I know to go to work, you know what I mean? I could put my hands to the plow, so to speak. But this plow was different. God's plow, you can't look back. When you put your hands to the plow, as me and my friend Raheem often talks about, when you put your hands to the plow, you can't look back, and there are a lot of people that's not going to understand you at all because you got to figure it out.
That's right.
Because there's so much coming.
Right.
And so many people see, okay, they like you everywhere, you see, but what they're not understanding is I have no choice but to release it because keeping it in will drive me crazy. You see what I'm saying? And so after about 400 quotes, put out my first book, which is a journal. Now I'm converting that into a journal for boys.
Oh, okay.
Then my children's book, Along the Journey, is a friend who has MS. and he's the last living sibling. And his friend, his best friend, and they call themselves, they militant, pro-black, and all of this. And I crack jokes frequently to laugh. And again, I have to be careful about what I say, because when I say, it manifests.
That's right.
And so I said I was going to do this children's book, call it Adventures of Oberon Luther. And today, there's
It came
the
out
children's
when?
book. My children's book came out at the end of 2019. We had the book release, and it's on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Walmart, Goodreads. It's out here, and it's a story of two young men. One young man moves into the neighborhood. Both of the young men have both their parents, and every day they go on this adventure. At the adventure is the wise mode. The wise mode pops up out the ground, and he gives them choices, right or left. Whatever they choose becomes that adventure and the lesson that they'll learn to take back home. But it has 10 lessons in it. 1, communication with the parent, understanding what it is to communicate with adults, having both parents, the value of the father, his input, the value of communication, how to stop bullying, how to be a leader. These are some of the qualities that's in that children's book. And then COVID struck, and everything. So we took Oba from the book, and we launched phase 1 of our Smash Suicide campaign, where we eventually put up a billboard because boys 5 to 11 are 1 and 2.
And suicide.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
So,
5 through 11.
yes, our number 1. Excuse me. And so suicide,
Wow.
right? The suicide for boys, right? We can't have a culture or a world where 5-year-olds are committing suicide. That says so much about us as adults. And as we see what has taken place, our children just witness our society continuously producing murder, drive-bys, abuse, racism, insurrection, right? Poor leadership, right? So our children have just witnessed
That's right. That's right.
a lot of issues, and those who participate. And so, what would make a 5-year-old?
That's right. All of that has an effect on them. We don't think so, but they pay attention. These children nowadays are very observant. They're very smart. They sit and watch television or games or whatever those things are. If it's violence, they take that in. It gets in their spirit. And they say, well, okay, if my leadership is doing this, whatever the leadership is, whether it's your pastor, whether, it's your father,
right.
whether it's the leaders of our country, they take all that in. So they feel like, well, okay, if that's the leadership, then, what is that saying for me?
Well, we have to take a look at the last 40, 50 years, 60 years, right? We have to look at the last 40, 50, 60 years as to really what's happening with the males, right? So I was just explaining that if you give the girl the book and you give the boy the game, who's behind?
Right.
Right? And so, in other words, our children should be being educated equally. A boy should read at 4 just as a girl should read at 4. Because reading allows you to soar.
Right.
Be things that you want to be. Be creative. right? Reading allows you to imagine,
Right.
go places mentally. And what has happened is we removed fathers out of the home.
Right.
And because we've thrown away fatherhood, we've thrown away 70 values to our children. And when we displace fatherhood, right? Meaning a lot of fathers don't know, a lot of mothers don't know. And God has become, right? Secondary. Money is our God. We don't understand the virtues of what we need to be teaching our children when we have children. And it's very hard. I'm not saying it's easy,
Right.
right? You know, because we all struggle. But our children now, more than ever, need parental guidance
Right.
from both parents.
Right. Absolutely.
Us as men, we got to take better care of ourselves health-wise. We got to take better care of ourselves decision-making wise. We got to take better care of ourselves relationship-wise. We have to do a better job as men of understanding and adapting, right? Healthy-wise, healthy masculinity to be good to our mates. We need to understand that part. You know, when I was over here, I had a completely different mindset. And I realized that mindset was a destructive mindset to the people that I say that I love.
Right. Right.
Right? So losing everything. And guess what was just there? It was just me on the floor, a blanket, and God.
Wow.
And this message, these things were in my possession.
Wow.
I had nothing else.
Wow.
So I said, okay, you done broke me down, Lord, to 0. So this is where I'm going to come up at. I'm going to do everything you ask of me. No more interruptions, no more distractions, no more changing, no more chasing money. Exactly what you asked me to do.
And he laid it out for you.
And I cannot tell you from, I say about 2015, today, I'm directly on course
Amen.
for what I'm supposed to be doing.
Wow. Now tell us where the Encourage Me, I'm Young, is it a place that you meet? I know at one time you were at the Rosedale Baptist Church.
Right.
And you were doing, I don't know, was it basketball, something?
Well, it was mentoring, right?
Mentoring,
We use the ball,
okay.
right? Boys have to, so our ME Future Leaders mentoring program, which during COVID was certified by the University of Michigan,
Praise God.
right, as a theory of change. We bring a boy into our mentoring program, 8 to 14,
Okay.
up to the 8th grade. And we use the ball because that's a draw.
Right, exactly.
Um,
Now, are you
once-
still there at that place?
No,
or
we use, I'm still at Rosedale, but we rent, this season, we're renting New St. Paul.
Okay.
And the gymnasium,
Right.
right? And so we use the gym, run them, because boys got to have activity.
Right.
We took activity out of schools and replaced it with ADHD medicine. So our boys were no longer playing. They fidgety, so we got to give them.
Yeah,
Right.
something to get all that energy out.
Right, so we give them ADHD. We say the attention deficit, right? When in all actuality, sometimes it's just that poor diet, right? Giving our kids sugar, lots and lots of sugar, right? Before they even go to school, clouds the mind. So now, how am I supposed to learn something? I don't even have a proper diet. I've seen where kids, they were pulling up to stores buying pop and hot chips before they go into school.
Right.
That kid academically is going to be in trouble, you see. So if it's a boy, this system says, oh, well, he's a problem, right? And so the black boy is the most kicked out of education school in America, right? Studies show that when each kid is on the same level, right, that the boy, the black boy, right, is more kicked out. See?
More so than girls.
More so than girls,
Yeah.
right? Because of the environment.
Right.
The whole "I fear for my life" game. The whole he's so right, and then some classrooms, it's too much nurturing, so he doesn't get away from. Because what, 2%, 25? What do they say? It's 25% of males, black males, and males in education. Right? Where are we?
That's, you mean as teachers?
As teachers, right? So then you have mentors, you have big brothers, you have all these things, but where are we?
Right.
Right? What is it that I'm not present? Think about that, right? We say parenting, right? How important is parenting? But when we think about it, we don't even communicate as adults for the success of our children. We can't put that aside. We got to be beefed out up here. Men are no good. Women ain't nothing but, right? These are our words manifesting on our children.
Right.
And so through our mentoring program, we give our boys leadership words. We give them tools, a pledge, 11 our categories from accountability to integrity and loyalty. We teach them all of that. Then they have to do community service.
Yeah. So you teach them. I think one of the words was servant leadership.
Servant leadership, yeah. So our 11 pillars of character
Okay.
is instilled in them in that 14 weeks. By the time week 9, you got a completely different kid. So then we have a program for the moms who have boys that are in the program called BOSS, Building Our Sons, giving them the tools, right, to navigate when the son comes back in the house from the program, how important it is for you to understand here are some things and where to be disciplined with him, right? Because boys, we're very manipulative. Boys start manipulating their mama literally by the age of 3. For real.
Really?
Yeah. So the manipulation goes deep because all he got to do is pout a certain way or act a certain way. So this is a formality that he creates consistently. So then when I'm in school, I can work this same angle, right? Well, education in school, well, okay. But then the outcome, the reaping of manipulation is you're not really that successful academically. And so we pass them, and we pass them, and then they find out suddenly statistics show boys in the 8th grade,
Right.
can't read or do math.
Right. Wow. So you would agree that you can't restore the family without restoring the neighborhood, and encourage me. I'm young. It's a solution-based movement. It's a movement that not only the principles that you're teaching the boys, but you're also instilling in them community values, how to get along with your neighbor, how to get along in a neighborhood, how to treat people within the community that you're a part of. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, because they learn the 11 pillars, they automatically learn respect, right?
Okay.
And the issue is that the success is, as a leader, you learn to listen. So our boys are doing such a great job. One of my big boys, he's on his way to the University of Michigan, that aged out of the program 4 years ago. He's a 4-year starter at Cass Tech. He's on his way, right? That's rare, as I often telling his father. But his gift was listening. And being able to listen and translate is even more powerful. So he was an excellent listener and changed his dreams, goals, right? Now he's honor student the whole 9, so he got dual, right? His brother behind him, and then there's a bunch of kids behind him with the same mindset that they don't have to worry about the struggle because they're leaders. And so that's what we teach them. So when we cut them loose in the 8th grade, going into the 9th grade, you got a different kid. This is a kid that probably been in the program. Got a text message from a parent yesterday. Her 10-year-old hit the door yesterday, came in the house, said, "I got to drop and do my push-ups." Right? And so that piece is we're shaping, right, them into leadership.
Right.
And that builds their confidence, and they're armed with these 11 pillars, and then they get to sell product. So they
Okay.
get to sell the product to build their own scholarship.
Okay. So do you teach them things like entrepreneurship or any of those things as well?
Well, we make sure that they get this sales piece, right? We
Okay.
make sure that they're accountable to getting that sales piece and taking the initiative through our, right? I'm talking with my fathers, because on the other side is the fathers, and we're contemplating, right, adding that. But right now, that 14 weeks, we know that
Right.
we can get this
Yeah,
much
you got to
in.
get the basics in there.
We can know
Yeah,
we can get the
yeah,
basics in. But
yeah.
as we go forward, for sure, you know, I mean, we can start an entrepreneur program tomorrow, me and one of my partners, easily, for the boys. We just are waiting, right? One is we're trying to build our own facility. So we're trying
Okay.
to build an empowerment center
Okay.
where we'll take the boys from 3 to 18, right? And everything will be for them.
Okay.
Not that we don't partner. We will partner with girl organizations when the Empowerment Center is not just for the boys, but our work will be just with the boys, right?
Okay.
So from 3 to 18, you are making sure that these boys are taught leadership.
Right. Right. Wow. I can see how your dream has just gone to a whole different level, you know, from when I first met you, because you were kind of in the beginning stages at that time, you know. with
I
your
was very when we met, I was ego.
Okay.
I was very egotistical,
Okay.
and I was looking at it from, again, the mindset of this clothesline is going to, you know, be that deal. And believe it or not, the clothesline has sustained us to even being around.
Really? So where do you get your shirts? I mean, where can people, if they wanted to, you know, get
Go
in?
right to emmyworld.com. Click
Okay.
apparel. It's right
Okay.
there. You get to see, if you go to emmyworld.com and you click our initiatives, you get to see our 10-city plan, which we're already in the process of registering in Birmingham, Alabama. So you get to see our 10-city, 10,000 males, 10-year plan.
Okay.
So that's there. You get to see our Smash Suicide, but more importantly, it's a little donate button down there,
All right.
right? That, you know, you can donate
That's right.
and get you some write-offs and, right,
Okay.
and help us move this needle, you know, for the children. I think it's important. And then our apparel, 8 countries, 50 cities.
Okay.
We've
That's
sold.
the website again.
It's
Yeah.
EMIYworld.com.
Okay. So tell us the other side of your Encourage Me, I'm Young. Then you have the Good Fathers Only.
Right.
Okay, so tell me how that came about.
So along the way, Good Fathers Only was this mantra I had, right? That I only wanted to know good fathers, right? I wouldn't mess with you unless you were a good father. And what I meant by a good father is someone who was participating in their kids' life. It was that
Okay.
simple.
Okay.
And as it went along, you know, we started getting members, right? Having a membership where men could communicate and help. But then discovering that it takes 12 mentors to equal one father, realizing that the father is really powerful. Fatherhood is life or death. A lot of us don't know that, right? And so discovering all of these things.
So fatherhood is life or death.
Oh,
What do you
yeah.
mean? What do you mean
When
by
kids have both their parents, when a father is involved in a kid's life, they live longer.
that? Okay.
Yeah, it's a DNA study that they study, and it's called.
The father
Tremere.
lives longer, or the kid?
The children,
The children live
the
longer.
people, everybody.
Okay.
Everyone
Everybody.
benefits.
Okay.
Everyone benefits when a father has been in a child's life. It's the exact opposite of ACEs, right?
Oh.
So at the DNA code is these little caps called telomeres, right? And the telomeres determine how long you're going to live, and they are truly affected by dads.
Okay.
So going through the process, um, realizing all these things, a friend of mine called me and literally gave me his nonprofit.
Okay.
Literally, it blew me away, and it like I was just supporting him at an event up in Oakland County in Pontiac, and it was around parenting,
Mm-hmm.
and they reached out, and it's a nice little story. But now, Good Fathers Only has its own
Nonprofit.
nonprofit,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm interviewing executive directors for that right now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And how long has that program been up and running?
So I've had Good Fathers Only since 2008. We got the nonprofit in 2017.
Okay. So you meet with them on a weekly?
Yep, we do at the last Saturday every month. We do a lean on the father.
Mm-hmm.
We have a meeting once a month.
Once a month?
We've done
Now, where do you meet?
usually right now is Zoom.
Okay,
everything is
okay.
Zoom. We before COVID, we had 11 straight years of fatherhood celebration walk in the Labor Day parade.
Mm-hmm.
Last year we did fatherhood the whole month of June.
Mm-hmm.
So we had the fatherhood. So I did shows the whole month around fatherhood in partnership with United Way and Campaign for Black Male Achievement about how important fathers are, solutions. Here's some things with mental health practitioners, the whole nine, during the whole month of June.
Wow.
Yep. So we banged Monday through Friday, right? And it was some great interviews, right? So we didn't do the fatherhood walk this last year, but coming down, we just had a brief meeting to kick off the year. We're gonna have one at the end. I got a few of my men. They're gonna start doing workshops.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And just keep putting the bread and the information out here.
Okay. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's needed. I mean, that's a piece that is added on. You have the boys, and now you're building, even if a father is not in the home, you can still be a good father.
Yeah, you have to. I think a lot of people don't understand, right? So for me, I was in this position, right? So, and it's easy for me to say, every other day, 2 days a week, it's just not enough. But we'll deal with it. We'll live with it.
Mm-hmm.
You going from seeing your kids every day to every other day, right? And so there's a study out there that shows that it's not that men don't care or have just walked away from their kids. What happens is I only got every other weekend. You see how that works? So if I only got every other weekend, when you look at the hours, how much effect do I have?
Yeah.
Right? And so then, we could send a check, right?
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, when it comes to providing, and I share this all the time,
Mm-hmm.
we look at fathers in the term of providing.
Mm-hmm.
When we say providing, the first thing come to mind is money.
Mm-hmm.
But don't I provide language? Don't I provide love? Don't I provide touch? Don't I provide guidance? So ultimately, if I'm providing,
Mm-hmm.
don't I provide time? And relationships, what do you require for a relationship to be healthy?
Mm-hmm.
Time.
Time. Absolutely.
You don't want no man that is just going to show up every other weekend. You can't have him.
Mm-hmm.
He's not really your man.
That's right. Come
So
on.
for the kid, he's not really you see?
Never really thought about it like
We
that.
never even respect, look, or glamorize fatherhood. We've made fatherhood a burden. And we've talked about fatherhood in such a negative manner that we totally wiped out of children's lives all of these great things that a father brings to the table. And essentially, what happens is the father is hurt himself. We underestimate when a father doesn't see his kid that he's in pain as well. No one ever asks us, how you doing, and you don't see your kid but every other weekend. We're in pain. I literally just told my daughter the other day, I want to know, communicate, talk. If it's just a text message, if you just say hello every day, because I hurt when I don't see you. You see, when I don't know.
Right.
Just keep me in the loop. You might need me to help you make a better decision. That's providing. Right? We take that away from men every day and want to know why we're angry.
Yeah.
Want to know why we're abusive. Want to know why we will destroy everything you have, right? Want to know because you're taking that away from us. And that's a tough thing because we play a part in that. We're not exempt. But don't make us not be able to provide all of these things for a check.
Yeah. And I think what happens a lot of times, women can be, maybe we need to start a Good Mothers, a good, organization, because, I've been through that. I do understand. And, one thing I always said when my, husband and I, at that time when we divorced, and my daughter's father, and I never, talked about her father to her.
Right.
Because that was her father.
Right.
And I've always believed in that I always would respect the relationship that she had with her dad, because she loved her dad. He didn't live in the city at that time after we, divorced, and,
Right.
he left and went back to his hometown. But, I never denied her opportunities to go, and she would go in the summer, spend summer vacation with her. Yes, I got a check, but I made sure that they maintained their relationship. And I never talked about him in front of her. Whatever happened between me and him had nothing to do with her.
Right.
She was not the reason for us not being together.
Right. Well, we just always have to, now that everyone is awakened to it, we got to go get the help.
Yeah.
We got to go talk to someone and go through our processes.
Right.
Because we make these decisions out of pain or what we've been through before.
That's right.
I myself, I just, remember my daughter calling me on the phone after lashing out, right? And she called me on the phone. She was like, "Dad," I was like, "I'm gone, baby." And she was like, "Dad, you." I was like, "I'm gone. You're right." Right? Because I had yelled from outside the house while I was going through something, right? And she called me on the phone, and I left, right? And what happened behind that is I never raised my voice again. I never, right? I took the reserve spot. Here I am, I took the, and I said, I'm always here. If you need me, call me. I'll be there, whatever you want me to do, And that's a tough position for a lot of men. But we do it for our children. I don't think enough men and enough people get credit that men really know how to take a back seat when it comes to raising their children, because they want to guide them.
Right.
Right? There was a study done by the University of Michigan. The mother turns the children to herself. The father turns the child to the world. Now imagine not being able to prepare your child for this world. That's tough. So we make sure that we celebrate fatherhood. We swag it, we gear, jackets, all of that, right? And once we're able to get this executive director, we're going to fly. That's going to be flying too, you see?
All right.
So, it's just the restoration of family is everything that
Right.
we're about.
Right.
So it kind of helps me. I come from a big family. I come from a family of marriages and relationships, and right, and in my family, I may have had, I have to admit that I've had some things that my family don't stand for. But my family is great. I love my brothers and sisters.
Christian family.
Yeah.
Father was a pastor, right?
Father was a pastor. Great-grandfather was a pastor. Grandfather was a pastor. My great-grandfather was the first pastor on television.
Oh, really?
Yes, Alexander
Wow.
Miller was the
Okay.
first pastor on television, and my dad was a gospel pioneer. So I come from this type of greatness, and so obviously the makeup is here.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, I know you come from a legacy of, family, preacher, minister. When you see that man name, it's just,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know, it's a name that has been steeped in, Christianity and values. And morals and things of that nature. So I like this quote that you had, that a man can't stand alone in his victory.
Yes.
What were you thinking or feeling at
We-
that time?
Society had become so individual that we celebrate individuals, right? But I wouldn't be who I am, right? How do I put it? I'm not Calvin Man if not for Columbus Man,
Yeah.
Curtis Man, Cornell Man, Carlton Man, Susie Man, Heidi Man, Courtney Man, my great grandfather. I'm not Calvin Man if it wasn't for my children,
Yeah.
right? These are all people who stood behind and made sacrifices and watched me and poured into me to keep going, right? I'm not Calvin Man if it was not for several other people: Raheem Anderson, Tony Franklin, Clarence Barber, right? Zach Hart, right? I'm not none of these people without them, you see. And the opportunity that the parents allowed me to mentor their children, and the parents that gave me that's what I mean by the man cannot stand alone in his victory. I win every day because of these people. They are the reassurers and have been, right? Heather Miller, who wrote my first mentoring program, right? I'm not Calvin Man without these people. And they push me through their prayers. And sometimes it's a text message. Sometimes it's a hug, right? So man cannot stand alone in his victory. And we do too much of he's only here because he did this by himself. That's not the case. And, you have several sports figures. And, the difference in, presidents and, you have all these men, right? And they could not be who they are without all these people.
That's right. That's right.
And so our mentality has to change to appreciate the people that helps us achieve.
That's
so
right.
Just like you having to encourage me, I'm Young Shirt, it's important that every child, every person that puts on Emmy understands that they too are a part of this victory.
Wow. Give them your website one more time so people will know how to get in touch with you. If you have children or even fathers or brothers that you know that needs this information, please, get in touch with him. So tell him.
He got it up on the board.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
And
do.
it's funny, right? Emmy, right? In me.
In me.
Emmy,
Yes.
right? What's in me?
What's in me?
You see, and so it's been an amazing journey. It's more to come. As I told you today, even Hype magazine just did an article on our Spanish suicide campaign.
Wow.
And there's more things. I'm gonna release the op-ed. I've been holding this op-ed, right? And now I'm gonna go ahead and release it this week.
And don't you have a CD or something you did, or?
We got a lot, right? So the children's book, and I've been working on as far as the music.
Yeah.
I got the Emmy song, but if you're a sponsor and you want to help,
Okay.
so we can really, I don't want to put the Emmy song out.
Okay.
It's just an average video,
Okay.
right? I want to put the Emmy song out with really getting exactly what we're about.
Okay. So now, if you want to get involved, not only in donations, if you want
Yep.
to get involved as far as your manpower, or, your children, or mothers, you have boys that you need to have some help, please get in touch with him. This is an organization I know from the heart, because I know when he would be going through sometimes, and I remember reaching out to you when you would be on Facebook, and I could hear your heart. You were crying out because the burden of what you were doing was so great at
Oh,
time.
man.
And I said, Cal, don't quit.
Yeah.
Don't quit.
Yeah.
Don't give up. You know,
and it really is. Listen,
don't give up.
and as many people as you have cheering you on, right? Sometimes it's just one person.
That's right.
It's just that one person, right? You got all these other people cheering
Right.
you on, but
Yeah.
That ain't the feeling you have at the time, you know,
That's
because
right. You feel alone.
right,
you know?
because you feel alone. And the other incredible piece about it is, right, you want this so bad for everyone that you kind of pull and push yourself. And I just was saying this earlier on the call. I was saying this on the call the other day. We oppress each other when we don't share. Right? We as people, knowing that I can help you, why wouldn't I? It's just I was on the call yesterday, met this brother, seen what he was doing, connected him. He couldn't believe it. I connected him right away to some people that could benefit, right? I said, man, that's what we have to do, or we are the oppressor ourselves.
That's it. That's it.
Right? And we don't look at it, but we are the oppressor ourselves, right? I'm holding you down, right? But I say, hey, Linda, I got a plug over here that really could take your That's what we're supposed to do.
That's right.
That's the God in us.
That's it.
You know what I mean? And so, you know, it gets tough. It does.
Yeah.
It gets tough.
Well, I'm glad you held on.
Oh,
and
yeah,
greater things are coming. More things are coming. So, you know, I'm just believing, you know, the help that you need, because God has, your vision is going to get even larger. I mean, you know, and so you just hang in there.
Yeah.
Be encouraged, and I know that, you know, it is going to be more than you have probably even imagined.
It's happening. My classmates are now starting to show up.
Yeah.
And get involved, and you know, various other people.
That's
so we most definitely getting ready to take this thing to another level.
Amen. Amen. Well, Calvin, I'm telling you, we are out of time. I want you to, if you're interested, get that book, Oba and Luther.
Yep, The Adventures of Oba and Luther.
The Adventures of Oba and Luther.
Yes, it's on
get
Amazon.
That for you. How much is the book?
Your boy. It's like $12.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it'll come right to your door, and it's beautiful. Right?
Okay.
It's a beautiful book. It's something I wish I would have had as a young boy.
Okay. All right. Well, encourage me. I'm young, and Good Fathers Only, the organization that God has given the vision. That's what it is. And and as I said, you know, at the beginning of the program, Dr. Miles Monroe, you know, just don't allow, visually impaired is what he called it, when you allow the vision that God has given you in your heart, and you allow the limitations of your eyes to override that, meaning that you are not walking by faith, you're walking by sight. And so we want to encourage you today, because this is a visible manifestation of what God can do in a life when you have a vision, no matter how hard it is, no matter what you have to go through. But if you just keep walking, you will see the manifestation of it. So today, Calvin, I applaud you. I thank you so much for spending, you know, this time with me. Finally. Finally. And you got a podcast too, right?
Yes, ma'am. Every Monday. It's a Solutions podcast. It's METV podcast.
Okay.
And, you know, we put out a lot of solutions, and we bring men to the table. So you hear a lot of men share stories and solutions that you might not normally.
Now, how did they get that on going on the website too?
Yep, they can go. They can go. You know, follow me on. You can go to Podcastic and follow me there.
Okay.
And you can go to Calvin Mann fan page. But I'm right there. If you go to my regular Calvin Mann page, you'll get it right there.
All right. Well, we are out of time. And I just want to thank all of you again for being my viewing and listening audience. It is so wonderful to be back with you. We are going to be, we're doing some readjusting this year. So, you know, if you don't see me every week until we just kind of get things, because this is a new year. And we really want to do some things and add to the broadcast and take it to another level. So as we're adjusting, maybe I won't be here live, but we still will be playing the broadcast. So I just want you to know. I, really got some things I want to share with you this year. I want to share with you my testimony of what I went through not too long ago in terms of being sick. You know, got afflicted, but God is good. And he healed me, and I'm going to be sharing my testimony with you because I want to encourage someone. So anyway, this has been the Marketplace Connection, and we are going to be signing off, and we will be talking with you. And you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and we'll see you again next week. Have a blessed day.
No matter who you are, no matter where you come from, there is always a force that unites us. The color of your lips speaks for itself. Join the club and let your lips do the talking with Aide Cosmetics. Order your lipstick today at aidecosmetics.com.
We wanna know, God lost my soul.